quickly give you our vision. Africa have wasted so much time about complaint. We complain too much. Africans, we complain too much. We are the only people who keep on saying people are cheating us, people are taking this from us, and our continent is the best, but we are not doing anything. This is a time where the new generation of myself, with the guidance of our big brother Mawere, is saying that let us do something different. Instead of blaming into the Western world, Europe, China, and other places, let us also do something on our own. That is the platform of the Pan-African Business Forum, where we believe that the only way to get to the next level, to meet the Millennium Development Goal, which is set aside by the World Bank and IMF, is to craft a very great reform which will attract foreign direct investment to our continent first, and which is under the part of the coalition for the reinforcement of investment in the continent. Because politics, religions, talks will not do anything. But the most important things we need to embrace together is about capital, capacity building. If you understand that we have 450 million arable land, which is at the center of the United Nations and the IMF. The world is looking for 72 million arable land to feed the world, and we have 450 million. You know the appendix, the ramification will come around when you talk about the land. From agro processing to shopping malls to urbanization and rural. And if you look at those areas, not to mention them, because I don't like to talk about their mine and all those other things, but I just understand that I am lucky to be born in one of the best continents in the world. We are privileged to be called African. I refuse to use the word I'm black, because black on its own reflects a different kind of connotation, separating us from other people who live not by their own choice, but to decide to live in Africa. So we define our vision and our politics in light of the Pan-Africanism. And I can refer to what I learned from Mawere when he's talking about 1873, before the borders was designed by the people. There's nobody who said I belong to this place, I'm a Zimbabwe, I'm South African, I am who, but we are an African. And that also have resonated in a book written by Thabo Mbeki, who wrote a book called I Am an African. What you are doing, I think, is something we need to all salute and encourage, because whenever there is a place to uplift our identity as an African, I never want to associate myself to say I'm a black person, but I'm proud to say I am an African. And whenever I find myself that map, that ideology is being discussed for the betterness of the identity of Pan-Africanism, I find myself part of it. What I wanted to say is that, to conclude, is that there is a great hope for Africa. We are the only continent with a great opportunity and prosperity. But for us to achieve it, we need to integrate everybody. A lot of reforms. Partnership with the West. We cannot do it alone. We need to work with them. And support our own countries, work together, strengthen the regional integration, and go to African Union. To finish, African Union for our generation is still a PO box. We're looking forward, with the help of a great mind like our brother, our vice president, I'll call him my colleague. We will reshape the functionality of the African Union. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's a good presentation. And my brother, I was listening to you with all my due respect. I have a spirit in me. I am the solution to all African problems. My brother, I'm telling you, the president of Pan Africa, this is what I am the solution. I'm here. I'm from Zimbabwe. The spirit came from Zimbabwe. I was born in Zimbabwe. But we will explain to you what I'm trying to say. Please, Mr. Kobe, explain my point. Dini go deeper. Ndauya. Dini Yobasa Chete. Dini Solution Africa. The one things in the world address. Asara Dina Witsi. Just a value for value. In the capture. Jolly that in the capture to the capture. As now value yake. Now we tell. Now we show a solution. Go ahead, Mr. Kobe.
No, I think we'll go somewhere. I think what he's saying is thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
The Africa problem is like a sick man. That we all talk about this sick person in different languages. But poverty, unemployment, inequality are the real diseases, but nobody seems to have the cure. Zimbabwe, with so many educated people, there is no educated solution. So it then requires us to rethink about value for value. Pan-African Business Forum, the idea behind it is more powerful than the people who may be in it. So by writing a book in the eyes and minds of a sick person, I am trying to bring home the problem of Africa. That in all senses, Africa is the forgotten, is the sick, is the outcast. But yet it has so much potential. So you say, thank you very much for your presentation, which is on point, which speaks to this community building that we are trying to raise an awareness on. That one individual can't do everything, but when we come together around an African problem, then through conversations, ideas, we can solve all the problems of Africa. But if I came as a tired person, as an eloquent person, most people don't even listen. So I have to come clothed as a sick man who left Africa, but pregnant with lessons that we can then work on. So some are asking, where is Honorable Ladis Agbesi from?
Can I answer that?
Yeah.
First of all, I am an African. I try as much as possible to not put a tag on where I come from. But all of us have origin because geographically there is a north, south, east, and west. Therefore, I came from West Africa, a small francophone country called Benin. My great fathers came from, they migrated from Ghana to Benin. They are Ewe. We speak, we are from a tribe which language is speaking on 3 countries, from Togo, Ghana, Benin. So that is my origin.
So I think the question is answered. It says I'm African first, but the origin is the Republic of Benin, next to Nigeria. Some people thought you were Jamaican, and I have a Jamaican for you to speak to. That I'm not sure what that means, but he's an African, and what the message is: can Africa, with one geography, one continent, come up with one voice on issues that matter?
That is what we as the Pan-African Business Forum, we've been trying to do all that. We try to unite one voice behind Africa.
Yeah, excuse me, my brother. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. Excuse me, Mr. Mawere. I want to speak in spirit, the African spirit. Mr. Mawere, you translate. Mawere, ndapa go deeper spirit. Mawere, ndakamba kutaurira kuti ndine ndine solution yeZimbabwe. Asa vanoda kunditerera. Uone zvandakuita. Ndini zvakare ndine solution yeAfrica. Panapa ndine mukuru wepresident wePan Africa Business. Mutaurire kuti inini pandiri pano pandakambodza maZimbabwe kuti ndine solution yawo. Havana kunditerera. Vakasanditeerera Pan Africa yababa mangwana vakazonditaurira ndokufamba ndakutoenda ndine mutumwa ndakatumwa ndini the true messenger wesolution yeAfrica. Ndakabva takachiti maZimbabweans asa vakati ndinopenga ndokutaurira iwe Pan Africa ari panapa mukomana kuti inini ndini mutumwa wacho ndini ndabva kuna Mwari ndini ndauya ndine solution. Ndikutopedza nguva kutaura kuti panapa ngatomhanya anovhura mafacebook ake nditaure naye ndimutaurire zvekuteni zvese zvandomutaurira naye zvinoitika vanondiedza tichatopedza nguva. Ndakabva kutarira vese kuti kutsvaga yese nemushambani mashamai ndakavapa maexample mawira chachiri mupenyu tiri panapa kudai tomorrow may never come. Ndapa mweya mawira ngatifambe nebhora mutumwa hapana kuya kutamba mangwana may never come. Kana atori pari papa achida kuteerera ndiri mutumwa ndiri pano kuti ndiri muspirit. In short, summarize Kwari. Thank you, Mawere.
Says thank you very much for giving a perspective that we are looking for. That on Zimbabwe, I said Zimbabwe is not a complex problem, but we have complex people. And the people are too sophisticated not to see the problem. So I've represented that Zimbabwe, we need to go deeper into the Zimbabwe problem. Yet there are very few who want to dig deeper. And I'm fortunate to be hosting you or to talk to you, although we ambushed you. To talk about this African problem. The African problem is deeper, and the fact that you are president of the Pan-African Business Forum gives me encouragement to also migrate my thinking from the Zimbabwe problem to a broader problem, which is the African problem, where we can also open avenues to talk about the African question. So I'm excited to engage with you and also to bridge you to the people I interact every day with, so that together we can put our heads together on how best we can build an African community guided by common sense, logic, and reason. So I look very much forward to work with the Pan-African Business Forum so that we can work together.
Thank you.
So I think, thank you very much for your time. We know it was just an ambush with no warning, but
No problem.
we can arrange a time that is convenient so that
Yes,
we can, then we can have a video call.
yeah, definitely. I'm available all the time.
All
And
right.
you must know that your responsibility become my responsibility. So wherever we need to co-ed, put effort together. Yeah.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to engage with you again. I am the one with the solutions. You shall see, my brother. Give me a chance.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Hello?
Mdara.
Yeah.
Namba kutaurira mdara kuti go deeper in spirit. Ndakabva kutaurira mdara. Ona kwandasvika manje. Takupa na Africa.
Yeah.
Ndichaziya ndakatama were BhukuReBenzi ndakandinyorei pasi. Ndikutsvaga Professor Lumumba. Vanhu vati ndinopenga. Achanozondoona ndakupa na Africa. Ndakandobva kutsvaga BhukuReBenzi. Tarisana kumashure. Achanozoshamisa kuti Ramza ndakakutaurira ndini ndine solutions dzacho. Muona bhuku randikunyora manje. Ndokandikuenda naro. Muona mdara. Rakupeka senzi kwamburira manje. Bhuku rangu rakukubekera risizi muone warakwenda bhuku rangu. Ya. Ndo bhuku rangu ndara ndopanda kwenda. Ndakwanisa kutaura ndakati andofamba nemipicha picha. I think makuru mabhuku rangu.
So let's so if people are interested, is very interesting views, and we will share some of it, and if people are willing to hear him speak on BhukuReBenzi, I can take one of his videos, and then we can play it so that you can hear what he thinks about Zimbabwe.
So they're going to walk you that.
So all right, so let's see.
Africa, the sub-Sahara, and we've seen damage in terms of jobs, productivity, and everything. But still, South Africa is still relevant. If you look at the report from Deutsche Bank, Goldman Sachs, all of them still recommend people.
Did you? Okay, let's see whether this one is better. Okay. All right, so
people to buy the South African bond.
let's see whether this is.
Is there still hope?
Okay.
Africa, the sub-Sahara, and we've seen damage
Okay.
in terms of jobs, productivity, and everything. But still,
Can you hear?
South Africa is still relevant. If you look at the report
Can you hear the sound?
from Deutsche Bank, Goldman Sachs, all of them still recommend people to buy the South African bond.
Okay.
There's still hope in South Africa. The other thing also is that in terms of the package which is being given from the IMF and the World Bank, South Africa got the biggest one, which is 4.3 billion. And African Development Bank gave them some. You see, Nigeria got 3.4 and Algeria 2.1. And you see that there's still something, despite everything is happening. What South Africa have received is called emergency fund, not to support. It's an emergency fund.
So there's a difference.
It's a difference, yeah. Because when the people are fighting, it's not a fund which is a structure adjustment criteria where you have to live with a structure adjustment burden. It's an emergency fund to help to cover the health emergency. It's certain kind of a priority for the government because it's a huge economy. You understand? And if you see how the bond is fluctuating and everything in the country, South Africa have responded very good to the pandemic. However, I still think that the government of South Africa, as a big player in a SADC, supposed to integrate the plate of Zimbabwe and the other country when it comes to him to deal with we are one, we are family.
Well, the issue of the sanctions, they've been vocal about it. They've been lobbying for the US to remove the sanctions in Zimbabwe. Whether they've done enough is, something that needs to be looked at. But they have spoken about it.
I think the African Union need to take a decisive decision to cancel all the debt of Zimbabwe. Because if you continue like that, there will not be a country in the next 7 years. Mark my word. 7 to 20 years, there will not be a country in Zimbabwe. African Union, African Development, they need to make an emergency meeting and go together with the government of Zimbabwe in front of IMF, European Union. They've done it in other countries. What other people call it Marshall. We don't call it Marshall. We can call it Shaka Zulu program. We need to sit down with them and say, we don't trade with you.
Until this is resolved.
Until this is resolved. Because
so perhaps they're counting on the disunity of Africa.
That's why
this is why they can impose the sanctions and not get any consequences from anyone else, because other countries still need to trade with the West and they still need to maintain those relationships.
There's something we call in French ganglion lymphatic. When you have a sore in your leg and the other leg doesn't make sure that you don't feel it in the body to deal with it, they'll cut the two legs. If South Africa, which is a giant in Sub-Sahara, does not talk about the emergency meeting to deal with that situation, you know very well that in South Africa, 3 to 8% of the middle class people into the workers are from Zimbabwe. In the financial sector, I've worked with them. These are the smart guys who are working here. But you cannot sit. The economy are intertwined. Language, culture, everything is intertwined. So you need to integrate it because the GDP of Zimbabwe respond to how the growth of South Africa works.
Right.
Because they are intertwined. So if you don't do anything, you destroy your economy. Your insecurity will be high. So the South African, how do you call it, the tripartite alliance is need to sit down, which is the governing body of South Africa, to make a decisive decision to deal with that kind of problem. And that if there is no economy in Zimbabwe, the growth of South Africa will be cut into two. At the moment, it's 0.9, less than that, 0.5. It will be 0.01. And what's happened? The growth is no more there. The GDP is depleted. Everybody live. Insecurity.
Right.
So this is what the people need to anticipate in the future in terms of leadership. And leadership is not just meeting, but focus, think ahead.
Foresight.
Foresight, yeah, that's quite important. And I've been saying it. I have opportunity to meet Mugabe. I've had the opportunity to meet Mnangagwa. The two people are for me great people. And I don't want to differentiate between the two people. And I still think that if a bit of oxygen is given to Zimbabwe, it will change the whole SADC. Because there are people of capacity, smart, great people. They can make the change.
What do you then say to the human rights record that really is appalling that has been coming from countries like Zimbabwe? Is the part of the conditions for the sanctions to be removed? It appears Zimbabwe has not been able to rectify that. We still hear of a lot of people getting abducted and killed. August 1st, 2 years ago, people were shot with live ammunition in front of international media soon after elections. How do you deal with that?
With my little experience, I still believe that the human rights is intertwined with poverty. When there is no money, there's a poverty. There's still issue of disproportionality, discriminations. And because Zimbabwe needs reforms, the World Bank is not putting so much money for them to anticipate their reform. You need to, what is a country needs is about the capacity building. You need to come and participate in the capacity building. If the people don't have, they have to survive. How do they go to school? How do they build up the issue you are talking about? I'm not here to defend the government, but I'm just here to say that law and order are issues of development and poverty. If there's money, if people have a better life, you don't have law and disorder in the country.
Speaking of human rights, you said you have the ear of former President Barack Obama with the crisis that we saw happening in Libya during his term, his presidential term. Some say that it is easy for African leaders to be held accountable when it comes to human rights abuses. He came in with his army and millions of people were killed in Libya. Still, up to now, the country is in tatters. What responsibility does he take?
I actually think that Obama doesn't have a responsibility. The person who has a responsibility, we all know who was leading that program. He called NATO as a, how do you call it, as a partner. He called the US to support them because you must understand in the global world, they help each other whenever there's a crisis.
NATO.
And the French was, Sarkozy was in power that time. He had a crisis in Libya and he wanted to deal with it. And the American came in. But the person who was leading it was the French government. And I think the French government have changed position now. They are now understanding what is happening in Libya now. And I think this will be different. But putting the blame on Obama, I don't think so. Because somebody who acknowledged that there was a mistake there, he has said it publicly. Because, they are partners. That's what Africa don't have. They are partners. And they are the same body. So if France is helping America in a certain kind of fight against terrorism, and France need them, they need to work together. But we don't do that. That's what I'm talking about Zimbabwe. I'm talking about Benin. We need to work together. So I still think that Obama was not so aggressive because this is his continent. People think that he's been too much, too inclined with Africa because he's African. But I still believe that because he's our brother, is already, for him to be a president is a grace for us. And I think that in terms of human rights in Libya today, we will blame it on the government of French, all the government who are over there, because we were able to tell them, don't do it. South Africa, under the leadership of President Zuma, said, no, let us discuss. They didn't listen to them. The ANC fought for it, said, let us have another discussion. The same thing. So we think that the African leadership need to have a strong decision. They need to stand together. They need to stand
Strong
together.
sense of unity.
Their sense of unity. So today, what we are seeing in Libya, for this not to happen again, we need to talk to all the parties. You can't talk to the parties without talking to the family of Gaddafi. They are relevant. And especially when the family, through his son, want to reconcile Libya. Give him a chance. Let us have election. Let us have election over there. Let's allow people to speak. But we've tried with some general who keep on spending money. With another general, we don't want, Africa doesn't need war. Now we need to start talking about reconciliation in Libya. Our next agenda is about reconciliation with the family of Gaddafi. Because when South Africa did the truth reconciliation, who were the people at the table at the truth reconciliation? It was the people who killed our black people. How can you do truth reconciliation without the family of Gaddafi? How can you ever think of reconciliation without a family of Gaddafi? You're talking to the Tripoli, Benghazi. You need to put everybody together so that they reconcile the country. Maybe the family of Gaddafi want to say, I'm sorry to the people. Maybe the people also want to say, I'm sorry. So that is the basis of the new Libya we want to see from now.
All right. What is your position regarding Palestine and Israel?
I think when you talk to, biblically, we have always, as a human being, we have two positions. As a Christian who believe in God and who have lived all my life to the mercy of God, I believe that Israel is still relevant for me as a man of God. But in the geo context of politics, human rights of people of Palestine is an issue for me. So I still think that
specifically with regards to human rights,
specific to regard to the human rights. So I still think that there is a conversation there we need to have when it comes to the Palestine, which is not for me, because I want to separate the two parts. If you know where we come from, what defines us as a Christian, it's not about Netanyahu, and it's about our Father. I always regard myself as an embodiment of David, Joseph, and Moses. Where do I get those one from if there's not Israel? And when I talk about that, and God have mercy on them, why can't we have mercy on Palestine?
But as somebody who's looking to be a leader of a country, you were speaking of African leaders needing to have unison in decisions that they make. What position would you want Africa to take with regards to that particular issue?
They need to be on the side of the weak, which is Palestine. It's not negotiable. Because our life depends on where God is always for the weak. And we have to stand by the Palestinian. And that's why I told you my belief is separate from what is the reality. You understand? Africa need to have a position on Palestine. Because, if there was no position on ANC, there will not be South Africa. There will not be ANC today. So I think that the position must be Palestine. But I know that I recognize Israel as a believer.
As a believer, so you've got that conflict there.
But
as a leader, you have a position that you've taken. Yes. That's fine. Let's bring it a bit closer to home in Africa. The issue of West Sahara and Morocco. West Sahara wanting to have their own autonomy. The African Union, I think they've now recognized them as the 55th state of Africa.
The issue of Sahrawi, I'm one of the people who have worked closely with the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Morocco, Bourita. I've worked with them. I was privileged to understand what is happening over there. But in terms of the Sahara issue, I don't know whether we are doing it right or not. I still believe that we need to give chance to the people of Sahara to live. But if you come to what I said at the beginning, do we allow small countries to live? These people in Sahrawi, they have passport of Algeria. Some other people have passport in the other side. Do you want them to suffer like that for 100 years? It's a decision the African Union need to make. You understand? And this thing started with the late Muammar Gaddafi, started with some people, and that thing is that's still today. Morocco left, they came back. We fought for them here in South Africa. We fought for them. They have an ambassador, which is less than 1 year. But Morocco need to learn to be truth to himself in this situation. We need to blame all the parties. They need to be true to themselves, not to try to reconvert the new generation of African to believe in them with lies. They need to find a way to integrate that in their policy. We embrace them, but we still believe that there's a different way of looking at that issue. I said, small countries does not survive. As an economist, it's going to be there. The people of Sahara, they live where? Where is their government? Why do we want to spend money on them? Till when? Is it ego issue? What do we do? Better, we don't want other people to use it for their own interests. That is what Africans have to say no to the two parties. You want to use it for your own ego. We don't want that. We want harmony. We want peace in the continent. That's what we need to expect. I've worked a lot with Algeria, the government of Algeria, and they are one of our pioneers. They give scholarship to the people in Benin. In our countries, what South Africa has never done. Algeria have done a lot for us. And but they never claim to be the giant of Africa. Do you understand? But the new Africa we are looking at is a new generation who have a different kind of thinking. We want to have things differently. That's why I embrace Julius Malema, who said that Africa of tomorrow must not be the Africa we've seen. People are seen in government, they are more than 70 years. They are taking tablet of diabetics. How can you expect them to think? After 65 years, you should not be able to run a government. It's a multi-task function, which need all your sense, all your mind, your ability to think 24 hours.
Right. As we wrap this conversation, as we bring it to a close, you're speaking to people that are in Benin right now that are watching this program. What policies do you want to implement? What issues do you think, if you were to be elected, you would hit the ground running immediately?
I think the most important for us is that my people are suffering. And the most important is that to alleviate the poverty. That's key. I just have I saw people, the teachers, the new government have removed them. They suspend them. Some of them were driving their motorbike to go and look for what to eat, and they can't kill them. This is what I don't want to see. I want to give hope to my country. I think the greatest hope for them is me. And that hope is going to contaminate the whole region. I know if Africa is the gun, Benin is a trigger. I'll put that trigger. There will be impact on the continent.
Well, thank you so much for speaking to us. We certainly appreciate it. All the best next year as you run for the presidential elections. We certainly will be following up that story and giving our viewers a first-class seat to the Benin presidential elections.
Thank you, Madam. It's a great pleasure to be on your program. And I look forward to see you guys. And not only in South Africa, we want to see you all over the continent.
Of course. Oh, well, we are live across the continent, but perhaps we'll actually come to Benin to cover these presidential elections.
No, you'll come to cover our transition government from this year. There's going to be a transition government next year. And with that transition government, you are going to be invited. The European Union is going to be there. The ECOWAS is going to be there. Everybody is going to be there. And you'll be invited. Thank you.
We have you on record saying that, so you can't take that back. We'll hold you to that. Thank you so much for speaking to us. But in presidential hopeful, Mr. Ladislas Akbesi, talking to us about issues not only about Benin but across the continent, saying the only hope that the continent has is unity. Of course, we'll be leaving it there for now. Thank you for joining us and watching the program. Leave your comments on our Facebook pages live as we speak. Our Twitter handle at GUN_TV_. Mine is at Audrey Chimwanda. From myself and the team behind the scenes, have a good night.
Hello? Hello?
Hello,
Okay, you're finished.
Yes, that was very good. Thank you very much, Mr. Mawera.
Yeah.
Yeah, mdara. Inja kuti in short, didn't chipuza ino someone yamwe panapa.
Yeah.
Yeah, kufundira kuwa organize this flow.
Mm.
Kufoyeza kufundawo. Mdara. First kuenda mutaurire kuti zvese zvakutaura zvese anotobatsirwa kuti pere zvakurasika pakanyanyisa. Inini I want to help them. But ndine solution yawo. Ine solution yacho ndini mdara. Ndokutaurira mdara. Right? Zvese anatulasa malema. Mira Sabina. Menzara mdara. Yoyi mambira. These are deeper things Sabina. Okay, mdara. Akodi anajulasa malema. Malema takatubuta kesta tunezura baba. Alivyo. Ini mdara ga anarofundiswa ofutanika. Ini solution. Permanja au amen doctor only to take over. Just been after. What do you think mdara? Ndokutaurira mdara.
No, I think if we say we got the solution, then there's no discussion. But if we say we are towards a solution, then we have something to talk about. The moment you have the answers, then there is no need to talk. Then people withdraw and wait for you. So it's always good to approach life as if you, because I only know so much. I'm a human being. I don't know everything that is to be known. But the moment I know everything, then I become Jesus. No, I'm saying here I can go out in the solution. You are think I did. No, but no, I'm saying is if you have something to an answer, then you may discover that he's got his own understanding of the problem. No, but once you do, then it becomes, I'm saying is he may go deeper. So if it's a question of African Union or a Pan-African Business Forum,
Go deeper is too deeper for them.
No, I'm saying is you should always structure a show as if I'm not there. Then no, I'm saying is no, I'm saying is assume I'm not available. That's why we need a community of people to be able to carry on the show.
Yes.
So it doesn't mean I have to be there. You remember, even with Tonel, he runs his own magazine. He doesn't know who you are. But you may have a large following, but he doesn't know that. Because each one of us, we are spinning our own plates, pulling our own wagons. So assume that nobody knows. And even if they know, they don't care, some of them. They don't have time to go through what you're going through. So how do I get my content out? So today it was just to get him to think about the Reconstruction Act, about the laws, which is a show you can put from a businessman like Mr. Agbesi. What is your take? on 1, 2, 3, 4. You cut in, you cut out. Like Audrey Chimwanda was interviewing. It's a start and finish. It doesn't go on and on and on.
Repeat fast. First number interview yake answers anatopo answer questions akatorasika zvake but alikuwa kumuza kudaro manje.
Yeah.
To respect. But don't respect and do it manyandika. Because there's two type example. I'm African. As really change to African. But that's two type we see. Anyway, I don't want to waste time. Sandola uti mimi but show and out line face and
No, I'm saying is I'm saying is if you approach it. No, but I'm not going. No. I'm saying is the answer is giving is the majority answer. Even President Beki, if you listen to his speech, I'm an African. It tells you that the problem is bigger than what you and I think it is. So how do you begin to negotiate?
Very much.
What I'm daraka, Sabina and Dr. Peter Sabina no patem. I'm an opinion piece in Daraka, Kumpeng, the Masimba, Utamana Dara. Abam Dara and Atuni Napazarama Posa, I didn't have Zuma. My begin would come Daraka, particular Zuma. Abam Dot Masimba, you at Mani. So now I must box on a play.
No, but I'm saying is like you have Van Choga. Mawere Josera Mari Yenyika Yawakaba. Can you imagine how stupid someone can be? And then you bring No. I'm saying is you bring Zuma, then he reads this kind of. Imagine pesi yenyika anzi wakaenda mudura renyika ukanoba and then you say common sense is common, logic is logic, reason is reason, and one yapa mkoma masimba.
Sabina wala shamba roho kutabakisa. Sabina shamba wala shamba. Apa shamba Zumba amdaraka atone na baza Zuma ana baza Ramaphosa ke Sabina mdaraka pasaka na Ramaphosa akamira ku meeting akantozota ora speech ke basta Ramaphosa ngama wewe
no, but I'm just saying is if ignorance is not cured musina community ukuthi muite chi mugere mparavara mobvisa bvudzi re nonsense then
as a Sabina no way. And I'm away to Papa Widonica. But it was a wood to like it's on the Malaysians. Is a bit of Lamawega. And to see Ramaphosa, President of South Africa. Who put this up in a Ramaphosa? What was I going to say? Who put this up?
It's only God who appoints you to Mr. Mawere. That's all I can say.
Can you believe it? Mawere, I don't say what Ramaphosa. Those boobies up in his.
Okay, but you washika exactly patudaushika. Inindile pangu panenda kapika. When you talk about the spirit, what do you mean? Because because what it is this: when I came to social media, there was no one speaking about the spirit. It's only a Jamaican who can talk about spirits most of the time. And I know when I came 2 years ago to the Zimbabwean social media, I was the one talking about the spirits. So you tell me, when you talk about this, don't cut me off because we want to train you how to speak to Zuma. All right? Okay, so when you talk about the spirit, what do you mean, Masimba?
Missing them Jaramaway, missing the miss or make this straight. They two things. Okay? I'm too deeper. I need a spirit. The cook capture. Whenever I want to undertake it, I know the angry spirit. When you're going to be spirit, they don't capture that. Apart from the spirit, what deeper spirit is the honest opinion? We're going to name a jagon essay.
No, but imagine imagine you are talking to someone you don't know.
Zuma.
And then all of a sudden you are confronted with the language you was not mbunzwa.
Like asking you
No, but I'm saying is if it's about you, Zuma was a president of the country, not a president of himself. You have never just researched whether he said, I am using people in ANC or I'm doing this, I'm the solution for South Africa. If you find that speech, even Mandela, could Mandela akambotaura mawedzi iwawo, these were great people revered, looked up to, but they never used that language. Could be a solution for South Africa. Mahamudza Mandela achitaura izvozvo. No, but don't, these guys went to the struggle to escape the ghetto. Now you want to bring them through a show.
Okay, okay, Miss Mawere, first of foremost, yeah, to find out Miss Mawere, our father, our brother, our uncle, I can only say that you have ultimately healed Mukoma Masimba. I'm not saying the rest of us didn't do work, but today is the first day you can hear Mukoma Masimba is well. And even Sami Murora, I think she's done a great job. Like, I just want to take this opportunity as a Zimbabwean child or as a human to just say thank you very much, Mr. Mawere, for being with Masimba till today, because today is very coherent. And thank you, sir.
Okay, you're welcome.
Yes. But Masimba, when we talk about spirits, you all used to go deeper. I remember the spirit was mine. So I only want to tolerate a spirit. So what I want to tell is, in the spirit, because I never heard you speak about it if it's not for the 2 years you've known me. There's a point I want to make. Spirit, I'm going to have a Facebook. About the spirit. The solution is Zimbabwe. Can I any solution in Zimbabwe? No solution in Africa. Can I any solution in Africa? No solution in the world. So where's the spirit coming from? Answer the question. You will both you and you must around the spirit in the just want to we are lying. Okay, now let me speak. I speak, you speak. Speaking is like a roundabout. We give each other terms. I know, Mtara and Babongo is so patient like my father. Masimba, where is your spirit coming from? What is the name? What does the word spirit mean to you? Sabina did the first I got about the spirit of Facebook. But I'm located, but I'm the word spirit. So I'm able to spirit, and I'm going to hand over to you, Sabina. What did it mean to you? It was a political tool for me to be too closer to Sabina. Directions of the word spirit. Okay, thank you very much for answering. Let me just reply back. Okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Did you hear about the 7-year-old boy who was beheaded in Zimbabwe? About Nganga and everything? Yeah, I came across it on Facebook. You could have saved that child. But you hesitated. You must hesitate. that served that child.
Africa now. Zimbabwe, you catch me up like African live.
Okay, like I say,
Sabina, you work at you work at Border. I came here when okay, let me cut you off. Okay. The reason why I lost my children is because of the so-called spirit. Okay. When it comes to the people, the learned people, they say when you talk about spirits, it means psychosis. I told them I was a prophet back in the days. They say there's nothing like that. Psychosis, okay? That was part of the reason why my children were taken. So would you say that is a good spirit or a bad spirit? Who is wrong and who is right? Because the psychologist and the psychiatrist, they state that spirit is schizophrenia or delusional psychosis. Would you agree with them? The same spirit, it made me lose my children because the psychiatrist and the psychologist, the learned and educated people, said it was schizophrenia. Like when you can hear kana kuti ndirikunzwa zvakati kana kuti iwo tete vako vari kukuroya kana kuti iwo zviri zvekumusha kwenyu. All that is under schizophrenia. So when you're speaking to other people who are learned, when you say my spirit, they could think, let's say the Nigerian guy you were speaking to was an English guy. We've got English Christianity and everything, but it was just somebody who comes and say, listen, or a psychiatrist or a psychologist who says that's delusional psychosis and that's schizophrenia to have a spirit. I think it's a bit of mute for now.
Okay.
Thank you, Sabina. See, that about it. What I am the law. Chachora, Kori, Dara, Nin Daragam. Didn't go deeper. The Pregataga when you're a BhukuReBenzi. BhukuReBenzi is a solution towards the solution. But I write right to Zimbabwean problems because I'm looking for my mother. Who is this mother? That's Zimbabwe. Unataka kupata ndiwe mdala. Bada shamani. Pina mawani panapa. Napeka program msoro. Maya wangu kachima. Right? Nakapata yu. Bada shamani ka. Wanzi nakapata depression. Tipata iti. Iwo katoleta iwe. At the moment, what did you have? I would take a motor, I would fix a lesson, I would just saw it, I will follow up. At the moment, what can you do that I will make a phone? Before you use your phone to look at your mother. Right? Thank you very much. But I got my mistake sound of Facebook, but Jimmy's my wrong. You mistake, I mistake you mistake a Jimmy's my wrong. One day it's a purpose. I was showing the world I was born for a purpose. But more African dance pieces don't put in the Chemiza Mai. But my godness, Diana Chemiza Mai, doesn't deal in the bar, didn't go deeper. But what am I doing? This is my purpose. I was born for a purpose, Dara. A people saying safer.
Let's next to my weather.
Sabina. I was making a story. To be Australia, sure, area watch the Tamaroti, Takaya Kulu for a purpose. And I'm a preaching watch when you get the Amscana watch right now is up to me. Banagamu Benzi, I don't take my pictures. As I got a back to Fosca, my Passaiti. For
that
go
one
deeper,
is
to go
God
deeper.
sent.
I'm free. I'm free. Don't worry. So go deeper is prophetic.
Yes.
Because this is my spirit. All they do, they expect. That's it.
Where is the spirit coming from? Is it coming from Satan?
It's about 6 a.m. now. Alaborara. Ndingadai ndize mkazi iri ndisarati mkazi wangu peka peki ndoti mkazi uyu she's a Zimbabwe iwewo mawesha mwari wandifundisa this nothing called Sabina hazviziye kutopedza nguwa kutsanangurira ndibhururu wangu dai Sabina ndakamumaka ndakamutorera spirit wete kuti spirit ndati iye achataura nyewe vana vake ndati vana vako watorumura akachema ndati pfutseke watorumura vana iwe asi ndasanofuwa chiri sekuru zvala zvangu zvasvika pano zvazodai zvatokura mawiri ndakacapture akasinyora ndisikuwabhuda ndakavataurira handisina nguva nemi kana why because right now malevels egoti akura ndapinda mupan africa ndapinda naSabina shamwari mwana kumurasa ndatsvaga mukoma wangu Sydney samaita kuti mukoma muri kwei paWhatsApp ndakamira message yawo handiri wakanganwa mavalues avarwa kwandiri ndara kuti payakarongeka iri structured I've got the solution. Give us somebody separate for Nya. After Sabina, after Sabina,
okay, but listen, don't be ignorant, okay? Don't be arrogant. Learn to answer questions and to beat about the bush. I've asked you, where does your spirit come from? Is it from Satan? Is it from God? Is it Brianna Handa? Is it whatever? That's all. Takes a second to reply. Go ahead, Masimba.
Sabina, that answer yangu yes. Chapa ndile mturikiri wangu Sabina. Fanataura zvesini ndipamwe achitera kana kuzwa ndonere mawere anokupindura. Okay? Ndio pamwe pamwe ndio translate wangu. Acha kutaura ndizvo zvese. Saka musatambudzike nini. Ngoba sidi zamaita ndakudedza pano nokuti mune value kwandiri naSabina ane value kwandiri. Ukama honyanduzi asi ndiri pano ndiri pamweya ndini
ndakangozvarisana chete naMsamaiti
Sabina Nyarara
I owe Samaita maintenance.
Ndine solution Zimbabwe mesi muri tu ndakakukapture ngoba sidi zamaita naSabina ndakakukapture mesi ndakakukapture through technique ndakakukapture ndakakusira intaka yekuti ndakashanda ndisi zvakanaka ndakandobokugena mesi ndakakusota ndekuenzai kuti ndini kodipa asi ndonze wandakabva kubvekebveke handikurasi paizvino malevels angu akwira ndapinda mupan africa nawo ndakwana Dr. Johoboi kwana Professor Lumumba ndapinda ikoko ndakwana kutambe but segodipa ndakarongeka ndakabva ndakapture mundau wangu mawere ndakasomukapture ndichibvunza nyaya dzake dzeshapani mane paandifundisa haiziva kuti ndine purpose yekuti ndakabarirwa kuti ndinga have to save Zimbabwe kuseva Zimbabwe chokwadi zvachiri achiri pano achiri mberi mawere ndakamukomasiDney uyu Sabina uyu ini Zimbabwe ndiri benzi by choice choice yangu ndaanozoconfirmwa nemadoctors kuti ndinopenga zvechokwadi pandakapture madoctor kuZimbabwe ndakaroiwa right ndadaro ndine shamwari kumawere nkomasiti ndine panapa right now ane nhamba mufoni yake yaRamaphosa ane nhamba yaZuma handina azatokufunza shamwari yangu Sabina kuti Sabina tomamutsvagira show naZuma iyo show ichatoitika chete for now handitambokupera nhamba dzanaRamaphosa dzisidzi ndara wangu uyu ndakasomusiya kudhara ndikafamba neFacebook nanamvengembenge ndakatoignora kunokuti palevel yechiZimbabwean mind ane 3 viewers asi DM ndakatocapture kudhara ndiani the only true content nokukwanisa kuti unzwise kuti body pazvinoreva nanasi ndakupedza saka mukoma sidi samaita ini semanoteerera mukoma zvanotaura zvese nini pamapinda pano ndarauma mawiri achakutrainari chidacho Sabina daisafana pamute ndoti munzwise kuti inini ndiri pamweya hamunzwise zvandiri kutaura asi iye mawiri atozvibata zvese ndara mawiri welcome mukoma musidi samaita ndichamwari yangu auya pano nokuti ane value haana kupa ndakabhadhara $30 asi ndakamubhadharira pangu wese ndakavati bhadharai mukoma wangu ndakambomuyedza ndakambodeda kuita zvakawanda ndakazosiya mukoma wangu akumupemembe ndiye ati mutarise zvaari kuita pengepenge kudadisa wani asi ichi ndimukoma wangu awani zviri mawere timutsanangura kuti inini pandebvu
I just want to say thank you, Masimba. Inina, I want to pay for senior $30 for senior.
Okay, I'll give you the link. I'll give you the link. So I'll give you now. I'll give you now.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
Other thing I want to say to you, wait. Even if people cut you off, be the bigger person and keep quiet. That shows you're a bigger person. Somebody cuts you off, don't fight with them. All I want to say to you, Mkoma Masimba, this is where we are today. But I just want to thank you for some things you've done for me. You almost raised me from the dead, because losing your children is not something easy. Sometimes I would give up. Masimba would call me, do a live on this, do a live on this, do a live on this. So I just want to thank you for that, Mkoma Masimba. You were there for me when the whole world was out. Now my children are 5'9". When they were taken, they were maybe 5 foot. Thank you, Masimba. I love you, and I'll never ever let you down.
Anyway, we are not talking so. About it, she's a good sabaita como signal there is a barapa. At the moment, I'm away. The Republic can't girlfriend down. I'm the yoga to another side. To those I took to remove the barapa. Let me cut you with Zimbabwe.
Thank you, Sabina. Thank you, Sabina.
All right, Sabina. Zuma, I promise, Sabina, you're a passport.
Thank you, Sabina, from what I said, and to say I'm not Taurisa. You see, you speak English, but you don't practice it. That's what really makes me a bit upset.
Thank you.
I've told you what I told you.
Just say thank you, Sabina. Say thank you, Sabina.
That's it. Thank you, Sabina, for what you said.
Thank you. Thank you, Sabina. Thank you, Sabina. Okay, takunyara tese. Sabina, ukiri pagotipa. Akaisizalo. Amawere wa kutaura. Samarizwa nataura zvese BhukuReBenzi zvese ramawakanyaruswa wapedza kutaura. Okay? Tisafone pamute. Takatora maybe 10-15 minutes inguva yawo. Mukoma city inguva yamawere. Kana even 1 hour mudara yanguva yako mudara mawere. Samari zvese zvakachitaura izvi. Bhuku racho zvauri zvakatangira kopi in your own ways yanguva yako mudara. Mukoma ngatisafone pamute. Thank you. Go ahead mtumwa mawere.
Hey, let's I know you have summarized what you need to say, and we have been at it. There are questions that need to be addressed, and the future is in your hands. So the conversation started easy, and we didn't intend to go further. You called while I was talking to Toneo after the show, just to get his own take on the show, and he said, "Look, it's his first time to be on your to talk to you on a platform, but he benefited from it because the questions that he had, some of them have been answered, but some of them have been provocative, and he had no idea of what this law was. So when we spoke last week, his understanding was completely different from what he has left today with. And that's fits in well with the C2C framework of solving problems. Each day you expand the circle around the problem. The problem is not yours. As you told him, the law that we're talking about is a public law. It's a law of general application. It means anybody can be impacted tomorrow by the same law. And if people get into government, they don't understand what the rule of law is and what constitutionalism is, we all perish. It's not just people in government. Even an investor who was listening when I was talking to Sabina, Mr. Agbesi was also listening, because yesterday he was shocked that this law existed as well. And if you look at what he was saying about Zimbabwe on that interview, and after yesterday, he was shocked that he didn't know. So when he was talking about the future for Zimbabwe and what the role of South Africa should be, it was based on what he knew. But by being able to be part of this circle, he has been able to know things he didn't know. And even while we had the show, some of the portions I was recording and sending to him. And so Shona, he doesn't understand. But he understands English. But he's not a native English speaker. You can tell that he's a French speaker. But for the purposes of understanding each other, we're able to communicate. So Toneo, from the words that he came up with, he said, I've learned, would you come back again? He says, yeah, definitely I would be coming back, and I would want Mkwama Simba to host the show about the plight of journalists in Zimbabwe, so that their plight can also reach out to the people who follow you. So as you build your content, your character, every day, even the people who may have said they don't have time to be on your platform will then learn that we are all connected. What is a platform? It's just a logo. And if you are consistent about it, people who know you as Pan-African Business Forum or 1873 or C2C, whatever label you use, they will see it that way. This morning, I got a call from somebody who joined C2C, and she had a cousin who is applying for a license, and they got big plans, and he just wanted to be part of this. And he asked, what are the benefits of getting there? I said, there are no benefits. There is no benefit in giving up lunch so that others can talk to you and know each other. So if we just build the pyramid or the framework, how did you know Ladis? It was today. How did you know Teneo? It was just you calling at the right time while I was talking to him. How do you know what Ngululeko? And you know them because somebody else knows them. Samaita today, we were doing a blockcoin. And he said, no, I discovered something I didn't know. I said, but isn't that the C2C that Mkwama Simba was saying? Give up $30, you make it up on your own. But he then reflected on it to say, actually, I have gotten to know more people that way. There is no application to be members. There was no application for anyone to come to Africa and called a settler or thief or a colonialist. They came as individuals, but they found each other and built communities. What is netball without a community? What is football without a community? Then somebody would ask you, what is the benefit of me giving up $30? It's just a lunch. It's not the money that counts. It's being able to be organized so that when you phone, I don't phone someone at midnight. If you go to the president, you write a letter to him. And you find we did the same thing. I wrote to Professor Lumumba. What happened? Has he been able to respond to you? When you hear him speak as a professor, there are people in Africa that he has identified as shining stars, and one of them is not you. So you must learn that the people you look up to, they don't have to look down upon you to lift you to where they are. You have a big homework on your own to build your character. One day they will meet you. But don't worry about what they do or bring them to your show so that you get the numbers. They will follow. They will come because you have put your house in order. So that's all. There are many people, ministers, presidents, who have looked at the Reconnect, but could not find any words of explaining it because it meant they had to dig deeper. Yesterday, I was talking to somebody, he says, no, I don't have an interest in that matter, but I know about it. And that was an honest answer. He wanted to take me to a meeting. I said, what is it that is in common between me and you? For me to find myself meeting the same people I can meet on my own. I don't need to meet the president with people who have not refined their own ideas. So it's all a learning exercise. So what you've done to bridge yourself into the mainstream media, there are people who take pride in being journalists. And there are people who also take pride in having the numbers on journalism. They watch the numbers and say, oh, I want to say some Koma Masimba. Oh, why do we have to use 1873? I said, if you see on that logo Mawere, don't use it. But if you can use my page and get ahead, that's the fastest way to get ahead. Just get in and get ahead. And if you organize your content, it's structured. I got 30,000 connections on LinkedIn alone. Some of these are CEOs, some of these are executives, some of these are business owners. So it means you'll be able to talk to the key issues that trouble us, whether it's colonialism, whether it's identity, and what you're going through. And that is what a community does. What I said to Zed this morning is that every time you are asking me the question, can we stop talking just for one day and reduce our talk time? Because the questions you are asking me, you are penalizing me, because whatever you ask me, somebody will ask me the same question over and over again about the same things that are there. Like one person will say, Mawere, come back and explain how you stole money. They don't even know that I've been in Zimbabwe for many times, but they think that I am a fugitive. Instead of saying,
yes, because you're a private person.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not just because I'm private. That's the human mind doesn't want to do research. So when we are talking about this and using Kwama Simba to be able to go deeper, like what we did today, it means even Elvis Mgari may know also when you are saying, no, you are going ahead, slow down. He may also learn that, oh, actually, if I slow down, let me just understand the issues. What is indebtedness? What is insolvency? What is the state? What is a company? Then you break down to say, do we have a shared understanding of what indebtedness is? How many people act as animals when you owe them money or they owe you money? You can't even talk to each other. How many people would rather kill you because you owe them money that you can make elsewhere? How many people say government owns everything, including the land, that don't fight a government? What is the ignorance there? How many people say the state capture? Imagine in South Africa, there's a commission called State Capture Commission. How do you capture something that doesn't exist? There are many fools, including judges, lawyers, who believe that this animal called state exists. Then he said, take me to this state. Take me to Nkoma Masimba who is sick. Then I find a person I can talk to. I will find my person with his own mental faculties and telling me what to say, what not to do, and in his own words. How many sick people would never think of a book like BhukuReBenzi? So if you are talking to people, say, what is a company? What is a woman? A woman who is pregnant, is she still a woman? Or a woman is a woman? A woman is a human being. But imagine you have somebody born as a woman, then he's reconstructed to become a man. Then you say that person after reconstruction is something else. Have you found that the identity of a person is capable of being reconstructed? Then you think about reconstruction of a company. Once you reconstruct it, does it become a company? Even a person with common sense will understand that. But how many people say, let's ignore it, we want to solve the problem of Zimbabwe? So all I'm saying is you have managed to open something. Mabasa kwete kutaura kuti vasave vamawere kana shoko renyu ndarinzwa zvakanaka rinenge rakanaka. Signor is the one who said, yes, I'm a ZANU-PF project. And you have not brought him here to explain how somebody can create something that he doesn't know anything about. Hakuna kumunhu kana associate nasabhena namasimba. What the hell kiki kamdhara mawere ndaimbofunga kuti kane brains but hakana kamunhu kanosassociata. Yeah, but that's what you have, that you are associating with the wrong people, because Lolo knows who to associate with. That Sabena is Benzi, Masimba is Benzi. So I think today that's all.
Yes, I mean, that's the shocking part of it. Sakalolo Mepka, please don't say
thank you very much. The next time we are kosher. The next time we follow Kandiri, Sabina Placida, Bangoga Nyarara for the last 44 so minutes. Placida, please go ahead. What's on your mind? Welcome to BhukuReBenzi. Sabina Purua. In your own words. Go ahead.
This way, I think all we have is that let's try to get Signoro to come and talk to this issue.
I'll answer.
No, I'm saying is you already have his. Hello? So, Signor, you have already got your voice on that was recorded. So let's build something that makes sense for everybody. So that's, I think they're gone. So thank you until we meet again. I think it's late. It's already 22:33. Okay, thank you.